All right, that's going to kind of weave us into the next thing, guys. And here's when to list your home for sale this spring. Oh, what do you know? Another headline talking about spring. It's almost like they want people to list their homes. It's almost like there's pressure coming from economists and the talking heads at CNBC and Bloomberg and Reuters and, maybe the White House. Like, we need to spur. Look, the real estate economy drives a ton of our overall economy. It just does. Yeah. It's a multi-trillion-dollar entity, if you will, all real estate assets combined. And there's billions of dollars of transactions that get done every single year. When the headlines lead says, here's when to list your home for sale this spring, they're not saying you might want to consider da-da-da-da-da.
They're telling you.
You know what they're also not saying? Remember from 2 shows ago, episode 104, they said nearly 90% of homeowners worried about selling their house.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's gone. That was only 2 weeks ago.
No. But if you put it right now between...
No, it was like 90% out of 10 people they've surveyed.
Yeah. No, but right now if you put it between April 13th and the 19th, it's just going to be different.
Oh, I know, right? That's that little tight window. Like if you do it this time, this is
going to give you 27,000. I mean, that's great.
Yeah,
on average, homeowners who list their properties in the week of April 13th to April 19th could sell for roughly 27,000 more, according to a recent report by Realtor.com.
I mean, who's really taking this information and saying, "Oh, you know what? They're saying to sell now. Now I'm going to sell now."
I don't know.
But just last month they said, "Hey, people were kind of worried about it." So it's kind of like, well, it's kind of misleading at times as well, because it's like, well, one month you say one thing, the other month you say another thing, and it's like, well.
So what you're saying, Brian, you're disagreeing with this?
Yeah, I'm like,
well, it's one of those obscure.
It just makes like, it's like, hey, throw that in there, see what happens. Like, hey, let's stir the pot up.
I think we should take category on something else too.
It's one of those obscure things where you're like, that's like a random tight little window that actually straddles both sides of the tax due date.
Like, is there any data that comes?
April 15th is a tax deadline, so I don't know if it has anything to do with that. It's just that's what's happening at that time of year. And if the 15th falls on a weekend, then the following Monday is the tax deadline. So it could be as late as the 17th. So
at the same time, it could be a good thing, right? You just putting it out there. People who are in the fence of when is a good time to put my house in the market after reviewing this or even hearing about this article, they may just reconsider their thought and say, instead of waiting for May, June, when I hear the summertime is a good time, maybe I just want to start now. $27,000 sounds very enticing. Let's see.
Yeah, and it may be, that kind of first to market kind of thing, because in areas where maybe there's some softening of pricing and there's some more price reductions or there's more negotiations for buyers getting closing cost credits or buy downs, then maybe getting in your house on the market now is better than another 3% later.
Yeah.
That's that possibility, and that 3% could be a little or a lot depending on your sales price. And more importantly, though, I think is the window that they mentioned right after that, which is the March 15th to July 31st window, when sellers in general, compared to the whole year, see their best sales prices in that 4.5 month window. And that is that spring, summer kind of window, which was very late last year. But this is predicting and kind of prodding and taunting people. Go list your house between March and July.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Spring's back.
Spring and summer
Spring
are
is back.
Spring and summer is back. You got to make sure we get the sunscreen for this guy over here. So San Diego was listed in this article. I'm not sure if you guys saw it or not. San Diego home listed as early as the second half of March could sell for roughly 2% more than other times a year. Hey, 2% on $700,000, $14,000 right there. So that's some real money for some people.
Yeah.
If you're in San Diego looking to list your house in the second half of March, apparently the data is on your side, whether you did it intentionally or
more.
you did it passively.
There goes the Realtors Commission, right?
Yeah, maybe not.
You'll cover that.
So I'm sitting in the position of thinking that we have our best chance this year of a normal spring summer than we've had in the last 4. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually do agree on this, just because, we have a complete different, I think, mindset in the economy of what, direction we're moving. So I think that gives a lot of people more confidence that, as things progress, it's only going to get better. Although it's a slow start right now, like you said, that long tunnel is showing that light at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other thoughts about that? You're playing it cool? I'm curious why you're playing it so cool.
No, I'm not.
Are you afraid of jinxing it? Because you're like, yeah. Uh-huh, yeah.
No, I just I mean, I know they say it's just not typical times right now.
It isn't. That's why I'm saying that's why I posed the question that way. Is like, I think relative to the last 4 or 5 years, this is probably our best chance of it being a normal spring summer, because how many how long or how many times last year did we say, "Oh, new normal, this is the new normal," and it's like that became our like Fed transitory talk.
Again, here's the thing, Andy. When it comes to something that you've taught us, it's all about the data. We're always going to be listening not to the people who are very optimistic without data. We're listening to the true people that understand the market because of the data that's provided. And even with that data that's shown, that I've listened, that I've just kind of, just paid attention to, it shows that even this summer, ending this year, it's still going to be, it'll be considered the fourth consecutive year with the least amount of sales in history for homes. So
yeah.
It sounds good. Let me go with this. We got to go with it. It's what we're dealt with, so we're going to go with it. But it's not going to be your typical normal, spring. It's
I think out of the last 3-4 years, it's not the best, but it's the best as we've had. And,
there you go.
So it's not good, obviously. It's like out of the bad, it's the best bad.
Well, yeah, it's not the best you've had in your career.
Yeah,
Certainly in your 20-year career.
No,
of
course, yeah.
Yeah, 7-year career.
Yeah. But
it's not.
But if you do look at it from the past couple of years, there's more optimistic. We're kind of more inclined to know what's going to happen because of what we've seen the data do the last couple of years, that now it's like, I believe that, but I take it with a grain of salt because, as you see, things could change with 1 month to another. And
absolutely. And here's the thing. I mean, we do have more inventory.
Yeah.
There is more inventory than we had the past 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. I get that. But we're still at its worst affordability crisis that we've ever been. So considering the home prices where they're at, they still had an uptick, which is great. Values are still going up. But when, you're having more homes, there's a reason why we're pending home sales are longer now. People are still on the fence. People can't afford. People are still trying to figure out, do I get that third, that fourth job? Do I put my wife to work even though she's at home? Do I put her to work so we can figure this out? Right? So that's why I'm going with this. Like, it's great. Yes, there's going to be an uptick. I don't know if we're going to have that much more sales. That's where I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. No, that's fair. I think one of the things it's not noted here because I don't know how you would measure this, but one of the things I know I keep thinking about, at least on my own, is that people have come to terms with this is the way it is. Rates are going to be 6s. Prices are going to be where they're at. There's no 20% correction coming. There's no 3% mortgage on the horizon in the next 12 months. So I think there's like this collective, well, okay, so if I'm going to do it, I'm going to have to do it with these terms and conditions. And I think people are just coming to terms with that more in a bigger volume than they were in the last year or two.
Yeah,
I think that's honestly, I know it's an unmeasurable thing, but we've talked about how millennials are like this next biggest section of our demographics generationally. They're going to be home buyers, and like they're completely having a different behavior set than I think people would have originally thought. Because look, no disrespect, but like millennials were getting heat for a lot of stuff. Oh, they're lazy. They're unmotivated. They don't want to work hard. They just care about getting things. But it's like, well, then how come now they're like the fastest growing segment of the population buying homes?
Yeah.
How come they're the ones who are being flexible about where they live and why they go move there and how they make those ends meet by taking on roommates, converting the garage, building it? Like, they're making it work. Yeah. So somehow they've convinced themselves that this is the way it's got to be. And if I want this thing, I'm just going to have to do it this way.
Exactly.
I think we're at the end of the 3-year seasoning period where people were getting conditioned to this is the new normal, this is the new high, this is the new way of doing things, that now it's tipped over and like, well, I mean, if it's not going to get any better and the data is just, same, some days better, some days worse, then you know what? I'm going to take a hack at it and I'm going to have to figure it out and see what's out there, because if I wait longer enough, things aren't getting better. Absolutely. I mean, at least not in the way that I like for them to get better, but I gotta get in some way.
I agree.
Better meaning lower.
Like price. And that's what I talk to people like, oh, I'm so well, what are you waiting for? I mean, rates are going to come down. Prices aren't. And it's like, at what point are you going to, feel comfortable taking that leap and making that sacrifice? Because I think it's very tiered. For some people, like 6%, 7% doesn't work and they're waiting for that 5. But unfortunately, if you wait, there's going to be a long wait for you to, drop down.
It might have to be 5.99 or 6.25 or something like that. It's not going to be 5 flat, maybe. Yeah. Or 4.5.
But there was a point that you were saying that, some of the sales that don't go through, I also feel it's like, dude, maybe they're banking on getting a credit to bring down the rate, and then the negotiations don't go as well as they wanted to. And now they're like, dude, do I really have to take on that 7 when I thought I was going to be able to bring it down for 2 years? And they're like, never mind, I back out.
Well,
and that's how we continue to get creative.
Oh man,
yeah. Buy
It's-
downs and
here's the thing. I guess I'll say to kind of conclude my thought here is that I think it's forcing the creativity.
Yeah.
Like we weren't sitting around thinking of
hell
these
yeah.
kinds of things 6 years ago, 7 years ago, were we? We're like, oh,
I mean, you're talking about 2022. We weren't thinking about
no,
these things.
I don't know.
You don't even have to
I'm
go
just trying
that
to give
far.
a big.
This is just crazy. This has been the last like 3 years. It's freaking nuts.
But look at what's changed in what
Yes.
you can offer people, their willingness to, again, be flexible and do things and consider other ways to still make it work.
Yeah.
So I think it's and I've noticed this on the creative side, outside of just, the mortgage show stuff, like I've noticed creativity. Sometimes when the pressure's on and you have to find a creative way out or in or through, the pressure is what causes that. It's like the
absolutely.
catalyst for it.
We were just
I'm not
talking
just
about
sitting
that.
around when everything's easy going, how can I make it more difficult?
Yeah, I know. And what I'm saying, I'm not disagreeing with you in that sense, Andy. What I'm saying is, in the last 3 years, I feel more people have become a lot more creative. They've been able to use that mind of theirs to get creative. Prior to that, when you're comfortable, well, why do I need to get creative? Things are working, right? And so that's where it was like where I was going with. In the last 3 years, I've noticed myself being a lot more creative, seeing things a lot different and trying to figure out solutions, and that's what's actually allowed us to keep our doors open and expand ourselves into other fields where I didn't think we'd be building. I didn't think I'd be doing fix and flips, and I didn't think I would be surrounding myself with any of that. And here I am now, and it's much better. I like this new journey because we become a better resource to our consumer, our clients.
And I can argue inversely on that the people that don't, get their skills better, that don't surround themselves with other people, they're unfortunately are going to run around in circles and say, why am I not progressing? Well, you're not growing. You're not, taking skills that's going to better you. And I think keeping that sense is only going to get you better because there's always something
Absolutely.
better. There's always something
Absolutely.
happening. You got to get, innovative.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the people we're getting surrounded by. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to see these creative minds just say, well, maybe you should do it like this, or you should have checked this, or this is what you are able to build. And you're like, well,
I never
what?
thought about it like
I
that.
thought I could only get 4 properties on there. You're telling me I can do 16?
Yeah, homie, you built up.
How is that? But it's because of the questions you're asking. It's because you're putting it out there. If we're going in front of the teacher and we think we already know everything, we're just right there and we're not asking any questions, we think we're learning. But it's not until you start asking the true questions, and they're meaningful questions when you really start abstracting, as much as you can from that teacher, and they're just going to guide you through that process.
Yeah.
And that's how I treat everything. I'm just so open. I don't care if people think I'm done, because I am, and I don't care about that. It is what it is.
You're not done.
I just don't know everything, but I want to be that person that I know who to rely on.
So you stepped on a landmine of opportunity here for a lot of people, and you just don't know it because I'm going to say it right now. If you missed last week's Friends of Mortgage Heroes episode where Brian and Memo interviewed Andrew Greer, go watch that episode. Go look up Friends of Mortgage Heroes, Andrew Greer. There's a whole playlist on our channel. Go check that out. And then this week we have Sam. So these are back-to-back like killers
Bombs.
in what he's talking about right now. So go back and watch Andrew's, and then look forward to this week for Sam. So
That's right. Inspirational people, without a doubt.
Awesome setup for me to like weave that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weave that in. That was great.
Yeah.